And let's take the Dakar Feed Summit, where President Muhammadu Buhari has tasked African leaders to demonstrate political will and recommit themselves to massive agricultural production to meet the needs of the continent and export surpluses. Addressing participants at the second edition of the International Conference on Agriculture in Dakar, Senegal, the president insists that feeding Africa is not negotiable. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The conference, organized by the African Union Commission, the government of Senegal and the African Development Bank, has as its theme, Feed Africa, Food Sovereignty and Resilience, coming at a time when Africa accounts for a third of the 826 million hungry people in the world, coupled with a rising inflation globally due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The high-level summit seeks to extract firm commitments on eradicating hunger on the continent by the year 2030.
The African Development Bank will commit $10 billion in the next 5 years in direct support of the Food and Agriculture Delivery Compacts. Let us end hunger and malnutrition in Africa. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our continent. We owe it to the world. I say it again, the moment is right and the time is now. Let's just do it. Let us develop with pride.
In his address to participants, President Muhammadu Buhari described feeding Africa as an imperative, and to achieve this, he said at least 10% of annual national budgets must be allocated to agriculture. Farmers, he emphasized, must be strongly supported and the rate of rural-urban migration be reduced through the development of rural areas.
I therefore appeal to the Development Bank to launch the Sufficient Agro-Industrial Processing Zones. The Sufficient Agro-Industrial Processing Zones are game changers for the structural transformation of the agricultural sector. We must ensure that we feed ourselves today, tomorrow, and well into the future.
He described as welcoming the provision of 530 to be started in 7 states by the African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development. The president, however, stressed the need for food and agriculture delivery compacts arising from the summit work towards adequately empowering youth and women in agriculture.
To feed Africa, we need younger male and female farmers. So the future of agriculture in Africa will depend on getting more youth into agriculture. That means we must make agriculture attractive for them.
President Buhari later joined other African leaders in a panel session on food and agricultural delivery compacts, through which he believes Africa will finally break through and feed itself.
Since 2015, one of the main themes of the president's agenda is to ensure that we feed ourselves and we produce what we eat and we eat what we. So it's really fitting that we're here today, and most of the things that some of the other countries in Africa begin to think about is what we have already done in Nigeria. As you may be aware, we are already cultivating 21 different agricultural crops, but at least I can say that in 2 or 3 of them we have achieved some high level of food sufficiency.
Dakar 2 Summit, as the event is called, seeks to create favorable conditions towards achieving food security in Africa. From Dakar, Senegal, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.